The proper context for interpreting the Bible is not Augustine or any other church father. It is not the Catholic Church. It is not the rabbinic movements of late antiquity and the Middle Ages. It is not the Reformation or the Puritans. It is not evangelicalism in any of its flavours. It is not the modern world at all or any period of its history. The proper context for interpreting the Bible is the context of the biblical writers, the context that produced the Bible. Every other context is alien to the biblical writers and therefore to the Bible. Yet there is a pervasive tendency in the believing church to filter the Bible through creeds, confessions, and denominational preferences. Dr. Michael S. Heiser. As a Jewish individual, ever since I became a believer in Jesus, I've noticed significant differences in the interpretation of the biblical text between Jews and Christians. One example is the concept of hell, but there are many other examples as well, such as sin, atonement, salvation, and divorce. Numerous interpretations of the concept of hell have been proposed throughout the generations in most religions. Still, one particularly striking interpretation has captivated the minds of some conservative Protestant denominations. Among them are the Baptist, Calvinist, Lutheran, Pentecostal, Evangelical, and other fundamentalist groups holding to what is known as the Hellfire view, a place where God directly or indirectly punishes most of humanity, eternally tormenting billions of people through excruciating and abusive methods, which according to some depictions include burning them in flames. These sadistic tortures allegedly would persist every minute of every day for eternity. I've also observed that varying interpretations of biblical texts can greatly affect one's mental and emotional health. The manner in which we understand certain doctrines, especially concepts such as hell, can profoundly influence our faith life perspective. Misinterpretations or overly strict views may result in adverse emotions and actions such as anxiety, depression, fear, and a tendency to judge others harshly. This is one reason why theologians who critique the Hellfire view often argue that it is both illogical and misrepresents God's nature as depicted in the Scriptures, emphasizing love, mercy, and corrective justice. A more compassionate and logical understanding of the doctrine of hell can possibly foster a healthier mental, emotional, and spiritual life, free from the burdens of existential fear and religious legalism. The modern reader's challenges. Modern Christianity has significantly diverged from its origins within the early Jewish movement, undergoing a 2,000-year evolution shaped by church history and cultural shifts. This transformation started with the adaptation of the gospel to fit the anti-Jewish sentiments of the Roman Empire and the philosophies of Greece, proceeded with its recontextualization for the converted European pagans, was further altered during the Reformation Wars, and ultimately adapted to the distinct context of America's settlement. Consequently, while traces of the original gospel remain, they are now interwoven with diverse interpretations, traditions, religious biases, erroneous translations, and cultural accretions which many contemporary Christians might not fully acknowledge. Considering this long history of adaptation and transformation, it is conceivable that numerous obstacles to understanding Christianity from a Jewish perspective have become entrenched in its foundational beliefs. The Bible, a collection of ancient Jewish documents, is rich with metaphors, symbolism, figures of speech, allusions, parables, and allegories. These literary devices permeate the text, posing significant challenges for those not versed in the original languages, cultures, and historical contexts. This often leads to questionable interpretations and confusion among modern readers, especially Westerners unfamiliar with the ancient Near East, Judaism, and Hebrew and Greek languages.